episode number 184.
Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because #ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. I'm going to be diving into why you won't let yourself progress towards making a career change. And this is a topic where I just want to get a bit real because I see things coming up time and time again when I speak to clients, when I work with people. And I think sometimes we overlook these types of things because we're thinking about the strategy. We're thinking about, I want to make a career change. I need to make a career change. But you find yourself spinning your wheels and not actually making any progress. And this might be one of the reasons when it comes to making a career move, it can feel like difficult. It can feel difficult to actually move towards what you're saying you want. Right? So if you've been saying for a long time, I'm not happy with what I'm doing. I know that this isn't it for me. I know that I'm frustrated in the role that I'm in. I know that I show up to work every day and I feel like I'm having to operate in a way that isn't aligned to me as a person, or I feel like what I'm doing is not fully allowing me to use all of my skills and all of my expertise, or I just feel frustrated because there's been a recent restructure within the organization and what was once a brilliant role has now changed scope and the vibe here is different and I'm just not happy. If you've been saying those things for a while, but not taking any action towards making a difference, then it may be that you're not thinking about the right things. And so that's what I want to talk about right now, because it's really easy to say, oh yeah, I need to make a career change and I'm going to go jump on job boards and see what's out there. But the reality is doing that isn't really going to help you to move forward, because when you look out onto job boards, you may not see any opportunities that tick all the boxes for you. And then that immediately gets you into the headspace that it is not possible. This isn't good timing. I shouldn't be pursuing this. And then you stay stuck because you're not happy, but then you can't see a way out. And the reason why I entitled this "Why You Won't Let Yourself Progress" is because sometimes we're not really paying attention to what's going on internally in terms of our thought process that could be holding you back from actually doing the work, taking the steps that are required for you to make a change, to make a difference, to make a shift. And here's what I know to be true. If you are a high achieving woman, if you are somebody who has worked hard to get to where it is that you are, your personality type, your natural inclination, the way that you do things probably means that you're the type of person who normally has all the answers. If you don't have all the answers, you know how to get all of the answers. So you're the type of person who has a group of friends, or your family members will come to you to ask you for advice because you give sound advice, because you think things through, because you know how to get to the answers. And so you're used to having it all figured out. You're used to being that go-to person. But now when it comes to you and your career and how you're feeling, it's frustrating to you to realize that you don't have the answers. You're used to having all the answers. You're used to being the go-to person. And then when it comes to you and your situation, you're like, I don't know how to figure this out. And that can be really frustrating. That can be annoying. And that can cause you to park it. That can cause you to say, do you know what? I don't know all the answers right now. I can't figure this out. So I'm going to come back to it. But the problem is you come back to it, but you haven't moved any further forward in the thought process. Because what you're trying to do is get to the place where you have all of the answers, where you have everything figured out, where you have a plan mapped out before you take any action. You're used to having everything figured out. So when you're approaching a career change and you're saying, I don't want to do what I'm doing right now, but I don't know what else I would do. What you want to do is fully figure out what that alternative plan is, and you want to be able to assess it before you take any sort of action. But here's the problem with that. Getting clarity around what it is you want to do next is not going to come with you sitting there and trying to figure it out in your head. And the reason is you don't have all of the information that you need in order for you to make the type of informed decision that you want to make. You don't have all of the pieces of the puzzle in front of you so that you can make the type of decision you're used to making. Like, you're used to making decisions based on facts. Like, you get all the information, you ask all of the right questions, you know how to ask all of the right questions to get the information that you need to then make a decision. That's how you normally operate. But right now, it feels crazy because you just don't know how to move forward. How do I get the answer? I'm waiting for the answer. I cannot find the answer. I don't know what else I would do. So now I feel really, really stuck. And I want to share with you a story from a client that I've been working with since last year, because I think this illustrates this really, really well. So she is a lawyer. When we first started working together, she was saying, I'm frustrated with what it is that I'm doing and I want to do something different, but I don't know what that looks like. And I'm the type of person that likes everything to be lined up. I like to know what I'm doing. And so I'm finding this really difficult. And so with her, she recognized that, okay, I don't know what it is that I want to do specifically. So we looked at and explored, well, what are you interested in? What are some of the interests that you have and why do you have interest in those things? And then got her to the place where she was willing and open to start exploring, start putting herself out there, start networking in different circles, start really looking at things differently, but having to show up and do things that weren't really comfortable. But having done that, having showed up in a different way, having explored things, she is now in a position where all of the little steps that she's been taking over the last few months are coming together and giving her a level of clarity that she wouldn't have otherwise had if she was to just stay stuck and just stay saying, I want to do something different. So much so that opportunities are now opening up for her, and the steps that she took to explore and to kind of put herself out there and to see what was out there is going to help her in securing a position in a new industry. It's going to help her because she's been taking action. So when you're in a position where you're trying to explain to someone or articulate the reason why you're making a shift from one industry to another, she now has some evidence to demonstrate that she is committed to this process, that she is committed to making the transition, and that she's been doing things so that she can get to know the industry that she's moving into and start to get positioned within that industry to be someone who's making an impact. So her taking action has allowed her to, one, get more clarity around whether this is the path she even wants to take, and two, position herself to really attract the type of opportunity that she wants in this new area. But the taking action piece for her was challenging because she's like, I don't really know where this is going. So I'm telling her, you need to try this. You need to do this, you need to do that. And she's like, okay. And I'm always saying to my clients, trust the process, right? Trust the process. I know you can't see how it's all going to fit together. I just need you to trust the process. But in trusting the process and in taking action, she's moving further forward towards the clarity that she needs. If she hadn't gone through this process, she would still be in the same position where she's like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want to do. So what I want to really encourage you with today is, it isn't about trying to operate in the way that you're used to operating. You normally have it all figured out. I know that. You normally know how to get to the answer. And I know it's frustrating that you don't. But what I'm saying is, if you've been doing the same thing time and time again, and the results that you're getting are not the right results, then you have to try something different. You have to try a different approach. So if you feel like you've been spinning your wheels with this for a while and you feel like you're going back and forth between, I'm just going to stay, I should feel grateful for the role that I'm in, I should be happy with where I am. So many people out there that would love to be in my position. If you keep going from that to, oh, this is so frustrating, I cannot be doing this for the rest of my career. I'm the main breadwinner in my family, so I can't just jump ship and do something else. So what do I do? If you keep flip-flopping between, okay, I'm just going to stay, and actually I need to do something different, but what is that? And that's where you're stopping. Then I want to encourage you to start thinking about things differently and saying, okay, if I was to explore alternative options, let me go beyond just saying, it would sound good to be a yoga instructor, or it would sound good to me to retrain as a project manager. Like, let me go beyond just saying what would sound good, and let me actually start exploring what that would actually look like. And to do that exploration piece isn't easy, because what I'm encouraging you to do is step outside your usual circles, step outside of what you're used to doing and what you know, and start exploring what else is out there. but exploring to the point where you can actually start speaking to some people and you can actually start looking into what would this actually look like for me to transition into this? How could it work on a financial level? How would I feel on an emotional level? How would it be environmentally for me to make this type of transition? Let's go a bit deeper. And this is why I was saying, like, why you won't let yourself progress, because you are holding yourself back from actually moving towards a career change because you don't want to do the things that are uncomfortable. And I said this was going to be real talk because you don't want to do the things that are uncomfortable. I was on a live today with Katie Frigman from Flexible Working People, and we were talking about the job market right now. And we were talking about the fact that it is challenging and it is competitive. But I was sharing that there are people out there who are landing roles in idle positions that are idle for them right now. I see my clients doing it. But there are people who are willing to push past their fear, push past the feeling of being uncomfortable to position themselves to attract opportunities. Some roles right now, if you're looking at job boards, you might be seeing like 900 people applying for a role. You might be seeing hundreds and hundreds of people applying for particular roles. And when you see that, you feel like, there's so much competition out there. It's not possible for me to make a move right now. But there are other ways to do things. There are people that are leveraging their network, leveraging the hidden job market so that they can land roles. But taking that route is not necessarily easy. It's not. It's uncomfortable. It really is. But the question is, are you willing to be uncomfortable in order for you to stand out in this competitive market and in order for you to go for what it is that you want? So if you don't know what it is that you want, you need to get uncomfortable so that you can figure that out. And if you do know what you want, then you need to get uncomfortable so you can position yourself for the type of role that you want. So it's just going to come down to it. Like you do have to step outside of your comfort zone, push yourself a little bit so that you can get to where it is that you want to go. So if you know that you are saying, I have to do something different, like what I have been doing is no longer working for me, or I have to do something different because I've been made redundant and now is the time that I figure out what my next move is, then I just want to encourage you that uncomfortableness is for a season, and it allows you and it prepares you for what is to come. And the role that you'll be able to land at either an elevated position, or you might be negotiating a higher salary, and you might just feel like you have a much better lifestyle because the role is more aligned to you as a person. All of that is available, but you have to go through a period of discomfort in order for you to do that. So I hope that's helpful for you. And when I'm sharing this with you, I'm sharing it and I know how it feels. So when I'm sharing with you, go and do these things, get uncomfortable, step outside your comfort zone, it's coming from a place of, I know I'm doing it too. I have clients who are doing it, but I know what's on the other side. And I know what's available for you if you're willing to really lean into what it is that you want and not just stay in a place of, this is how I've always done things, so I'm going to continue to do it how I've always done it. So making the decision, recognizing that when you make the decision, that doesn't mean I have to have it figured out right now. It's just I'm making a decision and committing to a process of figuring it out. It gets your wheels turning and your brain working in different ways and gives yourself permission to actually go for what it is that you want. All right, so take care and I will speak to you very, very soon. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe to the show so that you don't miss any future episodes.